Better 2 minutes late than never. So sorry. I wanted to get a soda and say a prayer and get a rag in case I sweat because we do have air conditioning throughout the house. You kind of have to here in Florida, but this particular room was once a outdoor sunroom, so there's no AC in here. So just in case I sweat, I got my rag. I came prepared, guys. I came prepared. All right. So here's something cool. Here's something real cool. Check out this mic I'm talking on right now. It is super sweet, and I'm about to tell you about it. But first, I want to welcome you to the Rumblin Man channel, whether you are watching me live right now. And if you are, go on and let me know how this thing sounds. I did test the sound, and I thought it sounded pretty decent. But I'm about to show you exactly what this mic is real quick before we get started with the other subjects of tonight's broadcast. And so, really cool thing is here on the Rumble Man channel, I review guitars, basses, pedals, strings, amps, and lately I've gotten into microphones. You can see on my channel, I reviewed a wireless handheld mic. I reviewed lapel mic, headset mic, and soon I'll be reviewing this condenser mic by Tonor. Now, because I'm talking and not singing right now, trying to eliminate any outside noise and things of that nature, I do have a muffler device down on the mic that came with it. It also comes with a windscreen, and usually I prefer to stay away from these. I've walked in churches across America and torn them off of microphones, but I don't know. It's on there right now because it's kind of serving its purpose that way. So I just realized the audio is going on my iPad. Excuse me. Guy from NQC, Guy FRQC. Please explain to me, Guy, what your name means because I've wondered. And I know I look like I'm wandering in the wilderness right now. Oh, there's my soda. So while I pour myself something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. All right. Just joshing. While I pour myself a soda, I'm just going to welcome you to the Rumblin' Man channel. We have a lot of fun here. So it's content for musicians, guitar players, bass players, worship leaders probably get a kick out of some of my content. So, by the way, let's celebrate together. This morning, I released a brand new video, brand new review on YouTube this morning, and it is a review. Well, actually, it's a review called "My Favorite Pedal for Bass Guitar," and essentially, what it is it's me checking out the Line 6 HX Stomp, which I hope to talk about some tonight. And not only do I check it out in the review video, but I let you hear it a little bit, and then I show you what my favorite things about it are. And I give you, in that video that I released this morning, 3 tips for getting started if you're going to be using Line 6 HX Stomp for bass guitar. Not only that, but I, Rumblin' Man, have now officially released my first bass guitar patch for HX Stomp as well. So if you've already got an HX Stomp or are getting one, you should go on and check out that patch. In the description of this video, I have a link to the patch and to that review video. So check it out. My patch is only $3.50. All right. I'm trying to undercut the competition. So cheers to Diet Coke. I get dissed all the time for drinking Diet Coke, but what can I say? I like it. It's crispy and tastes nice, and it's got caffeine. So, all right, let's see who's on here. Sean Flores said something about 30 minutes before we came on tonight. Sean's a very cool guy. Sean helped me out with filming a video for Fender of the new Traverb pedal. You can see that on my YouTube channel. Very cool. And speaking of the videos that I'll mention tonight, as well as the products I mentioned tonight, the things that I talk about and that Chris will talk about when he comes on, as many of them as possible, I will put links to them, whether it's a video or a product. I will, when you watch the playback, I will have it to where there will be a link in the description relating to that thing, anything we mention. And that'll be sometime later tonight or tomorrow. Those links will be on there. There are already some links, like the one to the video I released this morning, a link to where you can get your HX Stomp, where you can get my patch, and where you can get your copy of this Tonor microphone. Sean Flores says, yes, he is, and he proclaims himself a cool guy. Sean, we're going to have to get you on here one night, brother, because I bet you and I could actually do a pretty sweet broadcast if we set up somewhere with your fancy camera and stuff like that, and we can chat gear and worship music and stuff. Guy FRQC, I want to understand. Oh, from Quebec, Canada, but you're in Tennessee now, Guy. Hey, Guy, what part of Tennessee you in, man? I used to live there for many years. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, grew up in Franklin, Tennessee. But I am now here. I was talking to a guy from Franklin on Facebook the other night. He might be on here. I don't know. And he said, "What is your name?" And I said, "Rumblin Man." And he's like, "No, no, no. What is your name?" And I'm like, "Rumblin Man. I came out of the womb. Rumblin Man. Birth certificate, Rumblin Man. Death certificate, Rumblin Man. I died to self many years ago. All right. RumblinMan.com. Not yet, but one of these days. Dayton, Tennessee. No clue where that is, but somewhere. So very, very cool. Very, very cool. So good to see you guys on this chat this evening. So real quick, before I move forward, we're going to do a lot of chatting. I'm going to answer any questions, and we'll have some fun this evening. We will be bringing Chris Volpini on this chat in just a little bit. So Chris is a bass player that used to live in Oklahoma City. Now, I can probably guess why Chris moved out of Oklahoma. And it's because there are so many bass players in Oklahoma that I think if you live in Oklahoma and play bass, I just don't think you can work because there's already so many other guys playing. So Alan Brown, Bully the Kid, if you're on here, you need to move to Florida or some other state than Oklahoma because the gigs are taken. Unless you are Bully the Kid, then you are the guy who has the gigs. Who knows? Who knows? But Chris is now based in the Pittsburgh area, so he actually serves full-time in our United States military, which we very much appreciate here on the Rumblin' Man channel. We very much support the military of the United States, which is a very cool thing, but he also does several other things. He is a bass player in Pittsburgh. He plays some sweet Lakland basses. He's an Aguilar guy and doing great up there, playing quite a bit up there. And in addition to that, he is now a product sales rep with MJC Ironworks. So in the link, there's a link in the description of this video where you can see a review that I released just this past week of some MJC Ironworks bass guitar strings. And they're very, very cool stainless steel strings. In fact, I have them on this bass right here. This is my Yamaha BB bass, my favorite bass I've ever owned. But yeah, MJC Ironworks strings on here. You got to check out that review video. They are really cool strings, really cool sounding. They also make an appearance in the video I released this morning. Let's make sure that doesn't fall over. I'll also be reviewing 2 more sets of MJC Ironworks strings, a set of acoustic strings, which I already have filmed part of the review, and then a set of electric strings as well, which I am yet to put on a guitar. I'm really interested in actually checking out a second set of bass strings by MJC because these stainless steel strings, they're really cool. They're great, but I'm more of a nickel plated steel guy. And in terms of the stainless steel and nickel age-old debate, at some point in time, I'm going to have to discuss that whole thing on the channel as well. But interested to keep trying out their products. Very, very cool. I do know that there are a lot of guys out there on YouTube and things like that who have told me that they'd like to find out more about their products, but they don't have the info. You know, I had somebody say, man, I'm so glad somebody finally posted a YouTube video of these on your friendly neighborhood Rumblin' Man's channel. All right. So am I the first to review their bass strings? Not sure. Chris sent them all to me, and I don't know. That's pretty awesome that I was able to tap the market first. So big shout out and thanks to Chris and to the company for that. But they're very cool bass strings. People have been wondering about them out there, and I thought, you know, I seem to run into a few guys here and there who have their questions about MJC Ironworks strings. So I figured for a special guest for tonight's broadcast, I figured, you know what, let's get some answers. Let's get some more information about these strings and do some bass chatting with revered bass player in the Pittsburgh area, Chris Volpini. So I'll be bringing him on in just a little bit. Real quick, I want to chat about a couple other products. Now I'm going to share my screen with you to the application window. So this microphone I'm talking, excuse me, this microphone I'm talking to you on right now is a Tonor condenser mic. I just now took it out of the package. It's actually been here for a week or two. Tonor wanted to know if I'd kind of like to review it, and I said, well, yeah, yeah. And as a, I do some studio stuff in here as well, so you can't have enough condenser mics hanging around. But it's amazing because it's got this cool setup where it's this arm, obviously it very much like a radio microphone. It comes with a little interface. The interface didn't work when I tried it, so I'm using my other interface right now until I can figure out how to use that one. But really cool product. And check out how much this condenser mic costs. Because if you think about getting a condenser microphone, you generally think, okay, well, I'm going to spend a pretty penny on this thing, right? Well, let's see. 40 bucks. 40 bucks. And by the way, this picture doesn't even include everything you get. It doesn't. All right, let me go over to this window myself. That's the interface, USB cable. It's got kind of two XLR cables. There's one XLR to 8-inch cable, and then this XLR cable that's kind of threaded through the stand. Then it has a windscreen, but what this doesn't show is then of course you get the microphone, but it also has this little pop filter that I have on the microphone right now. So, I mean, obviously, is the Tonor mic, is it going to be the same sound quality or parallel sound quality to the best out there, to Shure and Sennheiser? Uh, well, probably not, because it's $40. However, it is pretty cool that now a condenser mic is available, and you can mount this. If you have the right mount, you can mount it on a regular mic stand. Or you can use this stand they give you, which does provide some flexibility. I'm probably going to mount it on my desk for the review, but I just think it's so cool. And also for me, as a YouTuber, the cool thing is, when I do a live broadcast like this, or really when I do any kind of video at all, I'm going to have to figure out, okay, what kind of audio am I going to use for this video when I'm talking? I mean, if you think about it. And here's what I mean. If I were just talking in the sound of this room right now, which I have on a couple broadcasts before, the sound kind of bounces around the walls. It's not very isolated. And then last time I used the fine, wireless lapel microphone, which does fine. So you think, okay, how am I going to amplify my voice in this video or in this broadcast? Well, honestly, to have something like this where you can go, still figuring out how it works, but when you can literally just move it right out of your way, still learning the stand and everything, and then you could just pull it up and it's good sound quality. This is super convenient for somebody who's doing YouTube live streams. Somebody give me an amen out there. So, and the fact that it's available for only $40 is pretty incredible. So if you're looking for something like this or wanting to get started with a condenser mic of your own, I seriously recommend clicking on the link in the description of this video. If you've got two $20 bills, then you can have one of these on its way to you pretty quickly. So go on and get one. Guy said, amen. Thank you for that. Amen. Guy says, wow, sounds better than the wireless that you used last week. Thank you, Guy. Yeah, the fine products, and I'll probably be doing some more fine products. The thing is, it's kind of like in some situations you get what you pay for, but that one is kind of the same price as this. I think their angle with that is, it's kind of the wireless technology and the decent sound for the money. But obviously a condenser mic is going to sound way better than that. So yeah, so I'll probably keep using some of both until I figure out what my favorite audio is. So yeah, thanks for letting me know, man. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so I just wanted to tell you guys about that. It's pretty cool. I will be releasing a full review video of this thing probably the next couple weeks sometime. It might be the next video I do. I don't really know. But one night I want to have a full broadcast in itself just to talk about the little device that I made a video of and posted this morning, which would be the Line 6 HX Stomp. So the Helix and any Helix technology for a while now has been out of my reach because I don't have $1,500 to spend on a Line 6 Helix. And quite frankly, I don't have 600 to spend on an HX Stomp. But if you are out there and you're finding a way to afford it, do I recommend the HX Stomp? Absolutely. Do I recommend it for guitar? Yes, under certain circumstances. And do I recommend it for bass? I actually really do. One moment. Excuse me. I got to stay hydrated or dehydrated long term, I guess, but conversation for another day. So for guitar, I do recommend it for electric guitar. Um, but the thing is, there's only two circumstances in which this is going to work for you live for electric guitar. For one thing, the Stomp is intended primarily just for amp simulation. It does have effects in it, but quite frankly, with 3 switches and only 6 blocks in HX Edit, there's really only so much you can do. So, like this past Sunday morning, when I did worship at church on lead electric guitar, I just had it integrated as part of my pedal board, and I hope to be making another pedal board video soon. But you just have it on your pedal board and you use it for a couple basic effects. Like I'm using it for reverbs and delays, maybe a little bit of grit for an extra overdrive, and then for amp simulation, because in the church world, in worship, it's going more and more to, for one thing, digital effects for guitar, but for another thing, not having live stage amps. Most of the churches, or at least most of the churches that aren't like real small churches, at least in the United States, I'm not saying everywhere, but the United States, most churches are going into in-ear monitors, eliminating stage noise. That's what we've done at our church. And therefore, if you don't have an amp on stage blowing out into the congregation, then a couple things. Either you're going to have an amp room and you're going to isolate and mic that amp, which you got to have a pretty good sized church for that, or you're gonna have something for amp simulation. And I've reviewed a lot of things on the channel here, and I've used a lot of things on the channel here. My usual go-to for bass has been the Zoom B3. For amp simulation, I've used like a Line 6 Pod XT live pedal, an older one I have. I've reviewed the Joyo AC Tone. Still probably will review my buddy Sean's Joyo American Sound at some point. But for amp simulation, it really doesn't get better than Helix. I mean, yeah, there's also Kemper, which some would argue to be a step up. There's also Headrush, which many would argue to be a step down. So if you want the amp simulation that Helix can offer you, as well as a couple of effects to throw in as well with the presets, then this is a good addition to your electric guitar pedal board. In fact, it's an excellent one, and I do very much recommend it. And I am planning on having electric guitar related videos soon in conjunction with the HX Stomp. But for bass, it is dynamite. I mean, for bass, it's Napoleon Dynamite. I'm telling you, it is good stuff. After this broadcast is over tonight, go on and check out the video I released this morning of this thing. It's called My Favorite Video for Bass Guitar, and then you find out what it is when you click on the video. The amp cabs sound fabulous, and I kind of encourage you in that review to try to stray from the presets that come built into the Stomp and pursue your own. And one great way to pursue your own presets for HX Stomp, or at least to get better ones than come stock on it, is to download patches that other people have made. And so that's why I've made my first ever patch, Rumbleville, available. Rumbleville 19. There will probably be a follow-up in 20. And later in 2019, I am planning to release some more HX Stomp patches, a couple for bass guitar and some for electric guitar as well. But for bass, my only regret, my only thing that I don't like when it comes to using this for bass is I wish that there were an XLR out, because honestly, I think for bass guitar, for live, if it's like for worship or some situation in which you're running direct, I think that this could be a great all-in-one unit for bass. Like, I think a whole full Helix board would be a little overkill for bass guitar. I think for bass, you could have this right there. Exactly, Guy. It is a very nice size. Tap tuner here, couple effects. I mean, I don't use tons of effects. I use chorus pretty often for bass, and a boost, which those are what come in my patch that I've released. But the thing is, for bass, I think this could be a standalone unit for bass every single Sunday if it had an XLR out. And it still can. It still can. But the thing is, you still have to run it through a direct box. Because what I'm seeing on the outputs here, I mean, it's got stereo left and right, 1/4 inch, and obviously USB, but I don't know a lot of people that use that live. And there is MIDI in, MIDI out and through, a 1/4 inch headphone jack, returns, stereo. I mean, there's honestly, you can't cover in one video or even in one broadcast everything that this thing does. So I just encourage you to check one out if you're a bass player or a guitar player who needs an addition to their pedal board and wants some really solid, crystal clear amp simulation, because it's working great for me. I'm using it a lot for studio stuff. In fact, my most recent reviews, some of them will have this in them. You can really get some stellar sound. So I'm excited about this thing. Um, how would you use it in worship as a standalone? Well, you would just use it as a standalone, but you would obviously have to go out and into um, a direct box, and preferably one that's designed to work with bass guitar, like the Aguilar tone hammer. And then you would probably bypass the preamp, because you can have preamps in your blocks in here, and you can trigger them on and off with a foot switch and things of that nature. But the thing is that, that's the thing. Preamp and an EQ to me is something that needs to take place before the amp. And so if you went into like a tone hammer with this thing and you did the EQ after the stomp, then I don't know. I don't know. Well, I guess that wouldn't be the end of the world, considering when you record, you do sometimes tweak the EQ after recording. I don't know. I just know for myself, I would probably have my EQs set in here and then straight into a tone hammer. But then again, maybe I would use the EQ in the tone hammer. Like if you've got to bend over and like do something fast and you're not playing an active bass, well, that changes everything. Wow, I just changed my mind on national television. Yeah, so you can do post amp EQs and it'll be just fine. Personally, I'd prefer preamp EQs, like a Boss E7 or whatever that thing's called, GE7. But yeah, you know what? I'm a little astounded because I've been honestly okay. So here's what I've been doing lately. I've been kind of wondering, what's the perfect live bass rig for running direct? What is it? What is it? The HX Stomp doesn't have an XLR out. The Tone Hammer, we're using it, but I'm not all that happy with the Tone Hammer. I just figured it out. I just figured it out. Unless there's some other kind of effect that you want to use that this can't offer you, which I doubt there is. Um, I think the Line 6 HX Stomp for effects, tuner, and amp cab simulation into the Aguilar tone hammer. Just those two things on one pedal board, then direct out the tone hammer. That's a great rig. So check out my review of the Aguilar tone hammer as well on YouTube. It is a great direct box. Is it the best? Well, mine is called the best. You know, I don't know. Is it the best? The Noble preamp is really good too. So it's one of the best, if not the best. But yeah, that might just be a really nice direct rig for bass guitar. Let me know in the comments, if you're a bassist, what you think the ideal rig is for running direct. What do you want in front of you? What do you want to be using for amp simulation, or do you want to simulate an amp cab? Would you rather just run the bass straight in, like most churches and stuff probably do? It's a topic I want to address. Maybe we'll ask Chris about it a little bit and see what he thinks. I know he's an Aguilar guy as well. But yeah, so HX Stomp for bass is really cool. You see all these videos of it for guitar, but not enough of it for bass. So I'm going to try to be the one to make more of that happen right here on your friendly neighborhood Rumblin' Man's YouTube channel. And obviously for guitar as well. I mean, my channel started as just a bass channel, but it's branched out. I play bass for fun and on YouTube and for studio stuff and worship tracks. But I'm not playing bass live a whole lot right now. I'm playing guitar live, so I kind of branched out. So obviously I'm trying to do equal video and guitar reviews. TJ is here. Where is the Yamaha, brother? I got it right behind me, bro. Cheers, guy. This is the Yamaha. In fact, TJ, there's a link in the description of this video where you can go in and pick up your own Yamaha BB bass. This model isn't made anymore, but love it. So I've got the MJC Ironworks strings on it right now. Stainless steel. They're really cool. Got a really neat texture to them. I talked to John Howard and Jason Sheff a little bit, and they both seem to think they were cool strings. So pretty sweet, man. We're going to bring Chris on here to talk about these in just a bit, but yeah. I got to tell you, the Yamaha BB, it's one of the best playing basses I've ever had in my hands, and also one of the best sounding plugged in. This bass was originally on loan from my buddy Ed Hauser, and I just remember praying, "Oh God, I really need one of these." But then Ed turned out when he wanted to do a trade, so I have it, and man, it's a great bass. Oh, the basses I've had in my hands, I mean, I'd rank it pretty high. Obviously, honestly, to me, Lakeland just always takes the cake. In fact, you can check out in the description of this video, I've got links to where you can check out my two favorite Lakelands, the 4464 and the 5502. The 4464 just being a great straight up Skyline PJ, and the 5502 is just such a powerhouse active bass, similar to that of a J, kind of an HS configuration with splitting. And man, seriously, powerhouse bass. I saw my buddy John Howard from Six Wire play one just the other week, and it was really cool. So before we bring Chris Volpini on here, I want to tell you about one other guest that I will be having on the show very, very soon. In fact, you can go on and essentially mark your calendar for Tuesday, June 23rd. So I'm trying to do live broadcasts every couple weeks. I don't want to make you guys sick of me. So I'm not doing it every week right now, may in the future. So right now I'm trying to do it every other Tuesday. Tonight we're doing a Wednesday because this is when Chris was available. But check out the gentleman who is going to come on the show on Tuesday, June 23rd. Sharing my screen with you. I met this guy at the NAMM show and was super stoked to meet him. There are some of you out there who might already know who he is, but Jeremiah Groob is the man. I mean, he is an awesome guy. He currently serves as the manager for OnSong. So if you're out there and maybe you, whether it's in a church worship situation or a live music situation, if maybe you are, using digital charts in front of you with an iPad or something, or an iPhone or a computer even, then you're probably using one of two programs. You're probably either using Planning Center Music Stand or you're using OnSong. And OnSong is just incredible. And I want to chat OnSong with Jeremiah. And so Jeremiah Groob is going to be coming on the show that night. He's the manager for OnSong right now. So it'll be very, very, very cool. Thank you, Pearland guitarist. Tuesday the 25th. Thank you. You know what, Pearland guitarist? I'm sorry. I think in terms of Sundays, and Sunday is the 23rd. Yes, thank you for correcting me. Tuesday, June 25. Don't come here on Tuesday, June 23, because if that happens, we're in an alternate universe or something. But Tuesday, June 25th, right here. That's when Jeremiah Grew is going to be on here. But here's the cool thing about Jeremiah. A lot of you guys out there have probably heard of, say, Todd White, Lifestyle Christianity. Maybe if you're a believer and you're into checking out different ministries. Before Jeremiah was an OnSong, I actually know him because he was the worship leader at a big Power and Love conference that I went to in Orlando, and his worship leading was actually life changing. Like I came back to this side of Florida, just totally inspired. And he has a great CD that you can pick up on iTunes called The Room. I actually picked up a copy for our church to play during our communion. But yeah, that's the logo, the icon of The Room right there. So this CD, you can kind of play a video or something and hear his testimony of how it went. Amen, guy. I agree. Praise the Lord. Jesus. But yeah, so it was such a cool thing because he's got a powerful testimony of how the recording happened in Muscle Shoals, which I'd like to talk to him about some when he's on here that Tuesday evening. And The Room, from what I've heard that there's been amazing testimonies. It was a very Holy Spirit infused recording, piano solo with some guitar accompaniment. And from what I've heard, like people are like this, like just listening to the recording has been like helping people with disorders and stuff. So really cool CD. And in fact, maybe if you've been struggling with stress or anxiety and you want some, peaceful music that might kind of help you calm down and stuff, head on over to iTunes and get The Room by Jeremiah Groob. This is his website, which is his ministry, Lion of Judah Ministries. So in addition to managing for OnSong, he has his own ministry in which he goes and leads worship, also counsels worship teams and stuff. Just a great guy. And I'm really honored that he would come on the program and super stoked about that particular broadcast. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, check out Jeremiah Groob on the internet and check out his CD, The Room. Very, 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 very cool. So tonight's special guest is Chris Volpini, bassist extraordinaire based in the Pittsburgh area. Really cool guy. Actually, I've known him for a while. Not met him in person, but known him for a while because actually, if you recall, nearly 5 years ago, I still had the blog, the Rumblin Man blog. I had a bass blog on Blogger. It's long since gone. But I did some interviewing of different bassists, most notably Sean Hurley, formerly of Vertical Horizon, and John Mayer. And I even did a recent interview with that you can check out on my Facebook page with Mark Pacificar, who is Vertical Horizon's current bass player. Very cool. Sean hooked him up with that sweet gig. So I still do some written interviews here and there, but I like video so much better. But yeah, I did a player spotlight on Chris probably about 4.5 years ago. And so I've just known him through the channel over the years, and we've chatted basses. I've always kind of been an admirer of Chris's particular collection. He's got some pretty sweet Lakelands that I want to talk to him about this evening. Some, things of that nature, some really cool setups. So I am looking forward to that. In fact, I'm going to invite him on in just a moment here. So I'm making sure that is a done deal. So yeah, we're going to bring him on and see what he's all about. Actually, I've talked to him on Facebook some, but I've never chatted with Chris at length. And I just want to hear more about MJC Ironworks strings, because I've talked to, a number of bass players on the internet, on YouTube and things of that nature, who have been really curious about these strings. So this company's already making a name for itself. And I want to try more of their products. I mean, my favorite bass strings are DR strings. I like the Black Beauties. There's a link to those in the description. I like the neon whites, the neon strings. I like the pure blues. I think I like most stuff that DR strings makes. I really do. I even had for Christmas, I had some neon red guitar strings on my Telecaster and loved them. But the thing is, though, the thing is, you can always be won over, right? With strings, you can always be won over if you've got an open mind. So MJC Ironworks are very, very, very cool. I'm still checking them out. Actually, I did a 3-hour gig just the other week in which I used some of their acoustic strings. And the funny thing is, I usually use, Elixir coated strings, but these uncoated MJC Ironworks strings, they held out great for me on a long 3-hour gig this past Saturday night. So I'll be talking some about that when I release that review coming soon here. So got some really cool stuff coming up. I can't say with 100% officiality, but I can say that I'm pretty sure there will be another review for Fender, of a newer Fender product. And this actually will be another bass, also from the American Performer series, the Fender American Performer Mustang bass. And it's very cool. It's got the traditional Mustang style split pickup with a J pickup in the bridge. So it's a PJ Mustang, kind of like the Mexican made one that's available out there. But I'm really stoked about that. So that's probably going to be happening. So it's like there's no shortage of videos to make. The only thing that I seem to run short on, other than money, is time. But I'm constantly trying to make time for getting good videos out to you guys. In fact, I actually have pretty much skyrocketed in my number of patrons. I'm up to 4 patrons on Patreon right now, which is really cool. So the patrons are guys who, donate just a little bit on a monthly basis to the channel to help me keep going, to help me keep making time to make videos and to make upgrades. I'm going to need a kind of a better camera, and things of that nature. I'm going to need some better lighting and stuff like that, so that I can do videos at night and not have to just do them during the day. So if you would be interested in being one of my donors, there's 3 tiers on Patreon, and I can show you real quick before we bring my buddy Chris on. I'll show you those tiers real quick. I'm going to go in and cry right now. JK dog. So let's go on over here back to Google Chrome, whose logo creeps me out. And I'm just going to simply go over to my Patreon page. /Rumblin. Man, how to type with one hand. All right. So we got 3 tiers on my Patreon. So I got 4 patrons. God bless every one of you. Thank you for catching the vision, being part of it. If you so the lowest level, for somebody who, can't afford to donate a whole lot to a YouTube channel, which is pretty much all of us, is blue status. You get blue status by just contributing $2 a month to the Rumblin' Man channel. And you get a personal thank you from me as well as a video thank you message. Next tier up right now, I'm gonna probably be putting in a $5 tier because somebody asked for it. But yeah, also the next one up right now is gold status. I have one patron of $10 a month, really great guy, guitar teacher kind of guy. But if you join my Patreon program on a $10 a month basis, thus earning gold status, you get admitted into a VIP Facebook group that I have called Rumblin' Man's Insiders. And basically, the only way to make it into the Rumblin' Man's Insiders group is to be handpicked by me or to provide services for the channel. So like right now, there's like 11 people in there, some who are patrons, some who have provided, services for the channel, and others who I just kind of handpicked because I thought that they'd make a good addition to the crew. And essentially what it is it's going to be the first place where if I need feedback or whatever, it's going to be the first place where I go to talk to some people who have contributed and just kind of frequent updates, as well as coming soon a monthly VIP vlog. The plan is every month to release a VIP vlog to the Rumblin' Man Insiders, which would include $10 tier Patreons or patrons. Sorry. So very cool. I also have another Facebook group though called Rumblin' Man's Worship Guitar and Bass Friends. So join up if you're a worship player. Even if you're not a worship player, join up. We have some great conversations about gear and things like that. Platinum status on my Patreon is $20 or more. I basically give you a Rumblin' Man t-shirt and even shout out at you in a video. So just so you guys will know what the tiers are, that's what it is. Now, you may say, well, Rumblin' Man, are you pressuring me right now to be one of your patrons? And the answer is no, I'm absolutely not. Let me clear this up. Let me clear this up here and now, my friends. No. And you'll hear me say on a lot of my videos toward the end where I talk about how I've got a PayPal for one-time donations or a patron for monthly donations. Am I pressuring you? No, because honestly, where your money goes, that's between you and the Lord. It's not between you and me. And what you donate to and stuff, that's you and God's thing, not you and Rumblin' Man's thing. The option is simply there because I do need the help. I do need as much help as I can get. A little bit of money has come in from YouTube ads. And a little bit is building up from affiliate sales, but I'm not quite at a point where the channel is making enough to where, it can really contribute to my bills or to where, even to where I can make upgrades. Like I still am kind of financially strapped. So really anything that you contribute to the channel financially is going to go to two things. Number one, just keeping it going, making time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Being able to be in a place financially where I can focus enough time to this. And then for another thing, making those upgrades. So enough about those things. You are not pressured to be a patron or to donate. The option is simply there because I need all the help I can get. And so people who feel led and would like to be a blessing in that avenue are more than welcome. So what I'm going to do here is I have never chatted with my buddy Chris Volpini a whole lot. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm heading over. I am dropping the link in his box to get him on here. Excuse me, guys. We all got to hydrate or dehydrate. But one thing I'm going to do real quick here is, anyway, let me know if you're having a nice time out there on the Rumblin' Man show tonight. If you're not having a nice time, let me know what I can do to make it nice for you. More than anything, guys, I just appreciate your support. So, what is it? What is it that is available here? Nothing. Okay. Got my headphones on. These are Shure in-ears that I use for worship at the church. Dropping this over to Chris Volpini, and he'll be joining us live any moment. So hopefully these headphones are in perfect working order. So maybe I'll just kind of have one ear in. All right, so I'm still rolling. So Guy is having a great time. Guy, you're a nice dude. I like you, man, and thank you for all the encouraging comments on my videos. I don't even know how many people we have on here right now. Usually, when I do this, like when I sign off, I'll look and like I'll be surprised at like maybe 60 or 80 people signed on to the process, and there's usually a lot of views after the fact. So if you're actually watching via the replay, then check out all the links in the description because I'm going to link up the products that Chris and I are both talking about tonight, as well as other videos I mentioned and things of that nature. So there's going to be lots of cool links in the description of this playback. And then very much looking forward to my next broadcast as well, which is going to be on Tuesday, June 25th with Jeremiah Grube. So, Chris, are you here? No, I'm not. So, Sean Flores says he's a cool guy. Oh, no, that was earlier. That was way earlier. Having a good time so far. Sean, thank you for being here tonight, brother. Pearland Guitarist has nothing better to do tonight. Wait, Pearland Guitarist. Oh, Pearland Guitarist. That's my buddy in Pearland, Texas. That's one of my patrons. Hey, man, thank you for being part of the channel. One of the Rumblin' Man insiders. You're an awesome dude. And if you see Pearland Guitarist, if you see his comments in there, click over and check out his channel. He's got some great guitar instructionals. He is building a channel himself. Sean Flores is still here. What's up, brother? Hey, Pearland Guitarist. Good to see you too, my friend. But yeah, Sean is still here. Sean's a local guy, does some really sweet filmography, plays worship music. Really cool dude. We'll get him on here sometime. All right, still waiting for Chris. He might wait another 2 minutes before coming on because I think we discussed 8:45 p.m. So, how you guys doing? Everybody okay out there? I've kind of had a crazy month or so. Kind of a little snapshot into my life is just like all my time is accounted for, like between working full time and then on the side playing shows and doing this, the YouTube channel, and then in addition to that, you know, I've been doing some worship track production for Loop Community. So between everything I do, you know, I stay so busy. And it's interesting. I think a lot of my friends might possibly think that I don't like them or that I never talk to them. And that's certainly not the case. It's more so of I never have time to slow down and think because I always stay so busy. But that's kind of the thing. If I'm not busy, then that's when I go stir crazy. So I'm kind of one of those people who prefers to be busy doing good things, you know, up to some good projects and things of that nature. But yeah, videos coming soon, guys. The one I released this morning is one of my favorites I've ever done. You got to check out my new patch, and you got to check out this guy, Chris Volpini. He's here with us. What's up, brother?
How you doing? I'm trying to get to a better place. Here we go.
You look a bit shadowy.
Sorry, yeah, I have to walk through this. I'm at my rehearsal space, so
I love rehearsal spaces.
pretty good area. But okay.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible and 10 being pretty good, I'm gonna have to go with 10.
There it is. Let's
So,
bump that up to 11.
Well, yeah, maybe so, Chris. Good to see you on here. Now, I know that I talked to you one time, and you were here. You were like in like Sarasota or something.
I was in Biloxi,
Mississippi.
Yes, I was. Well, no, you know what? I think we talked when I was in Tyndall. I was at Tyndall Air Force Base near. It's near Panama City and all that. That area,
nice
Panhandle area.
So Tyndall. So is it the Air Force that you're in?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, brother, for your service to our country.
Oh yeah.
I hope people walk up to you in public and thank you.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite thing in the world.
Buy you coffee and stuff.
No. It's not like that. I'm proud to do it.
So how much time have you got left in the military?
I mean, it's at this point where I'm at. You get contracts, and if I do the 20 years, I got about 12 left.
Dang.
Every 3 years, where the situation I'm in now, it's like every 3 years I have to re-up. So it's just I have to make that decision every 3 years if it's still what I want to do, and it's a good job. So as of today, I plan to do 20 years.
Man, 3 years is a long time. Long time to make a decision. Okay, for another
Yeah.
3 years, I'm good to go.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
So you're planning on long term, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this stage in the game, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's just I don't try to like. I just make the decision when I have to make the decision, and that's And right now I got 2 years, so in 2 years I'll make up my mind, and we'll see what we're doing.
Very nice, bro.
Um,
Hey, well, that's awesome, and thank you again. But tell me this. I mean, I know that you play a lot. How do you make
mhm.
time for that, considering you're pretty busy in the Air Force?
Yeah, I mean, it's a juggling act a bit. I right now I work on what they call a Panama schedule, so I work long shifts, but I work less days a month. So right now I have a lot more time to do this stuff, and but even when I was deploying every year and all that, it was I still, they're pretty good. You get your holidays, and they're pretty good about giving you time off, and we get 30 days a year, so
Nice.
of paid leave. So it I've never, I've missed out on some cool opportunities being deployed and everything, but like I can't say that I can't say that it's been like this overly oppressive thing in terms of playing music. And the cool thing is everywhere I've deployed to, they've had some sort of music room, and
Nice.
I've gotten to keep, the instruments aren't great, but like they're there. And that's I got to keep, I didn't lose too much with my chops or anything.
Yeah.
It's I actually my last deployment, they had a few of these, like the new Music Man subs,
Oh
the
yeah.
Stingrays. They had a few of them, and none of them worked. And I was able to like do the Entwistle thing and make one that worked out of all the ones that didn't work. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It was fun. It was something for me to do. It took a few days, but it was something for me to do.
I saw on the
Um,
Facebook Marketplace today that somebody here in my area, the Tampa Bay area, is selling a 5-string sub ray for like $200.
I'm telling you, man, I played the new one because they just redid the electronics on the American ones. I don't know what they did with the subs, but they they just I just got to play one for the first time the other day, and I'm a big fan. It was just the regular single pickup Stingray, and it was a 5-string. But I really liked it. I really liked whatever they did with the electronics, whatever they changed. I really like it now.
Well, you're
Um,
making me interested to check one out. Do you
yeah,
feel
it's
that there's
definitely.
any lack though? Because for me, I used one in Seattle a little bit, but I got rid of it when I found out that it didn't kick into the music like my Fenders did.
So I'm not. I've had a few Stingrays, and I had one that I don't know what was different about it. But it was it. No, I don't really think they lack. I think it's all EQ. I think you can EQ it different. I mean, is it gonna? Let's see. What am I trying to say? So I think that if you get one, you may have to EQ it differently than what you're used to, but it's all just frequencies. I think that I don't think that they lack in any way. I just think they're different. It's just you just
Yeah.
might have to have a different approach with them.
Very nice, man. Well, now I'm kind of interested to check one out, do a little review sometime. But on that front, TJ Mechan asks, what are your top 3 favorite basses other than a Fender P or J?
Oh, this is easy. I am a huge fan of Lakland. So I've gotten to tour the factory and stuff like that. They're really cool guys. I like them as a company. I like them as I like their instruments, but more importantly, I like them as a company. They're great. They're great guys. They will go to the ends of the earth for you, in terms of whatever you do. So and yeah, I play a 5-string jazz bass usually.
Nice.
It's the 5560 is what they call it, but it's essentially a jazz bass. But they also have one that they have these pickups that are proprietary called Shy Sonics, and I am anybody that knows me on the music side knows that I am in love with those pickups. I have a 5-string jazz bass here at my rehearsal space. A 5-string, it's called the J Sonic, and it's a jazz bass but with the Shy Sonic pickups. And I really encourage people to check those out.
Is that your
Um,
Shoreline Gold bass? Is that what color that one is?
It is red. It's candy apple red with a
Ooh.
maple fretboard. It was actually kind of an oddball. It's a Skyline. It was actually kind of an oddball that I was able to get a hold of, and but I have the Shoreline Gold is just a regular jazz bass, or 4460,
That's what
and
I'm
it's
talking about.
it's American. It's an American one. It's great. It's my baby. And so sorry, I got off topic, but the question is 3 favorites other than a
A
J.
Fender P or J, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the J Sonic, the Lakeland Skyline J Sonic. I'm gonna go. So I'm not gonna say the 5560 because that's a jazz bass essentially. So that's not a P or a J. So 5-string J Sonic. I'm gonna say the Reverend Hauser Fatfish signature.
Oh, very nice, man.
And I'm gonna say the Stingray, the new Stingray. Right now, I take that back. I'm gonna say Ibanez makes a fretless that I think is really cool, called the SRF 700. It's got a piezo pickup and the fingerboard's extended, and I think that's probably, for the money, one of the best fretless options out there right now.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're in that right around $1,000 price range, and you get the piezo. You can get that kind of an uprighty sound out of it, and they're well made. I'm not really an Ibanez guy, but I think they did a really good job with that one.
There's something to be said. I'm not an Ibanez guy either, but there is something to be said because every once in a while you pick one up that kind of impresses you.
Yeah, I think the BTBs. If I was going to play a 6-string, that's the only 6-string neck that I've played in the last 5 years that I was like, I could actually do this. I just 6-string bass is a little bit beyond me at this stage in the game. But when I picked one of those up, it was really comfortable, and I felt like I could make this happen.
And your hand is tiny. I mean, I saw a picture of you one day, and your right hand is about the size of an infant's right
Yeah.
hand.
I don't know.
Oh, never mind. It's a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about that. I got you. Yeah.
It's like your profile pic or something.
Yeah, it probably is still. I forgot about that picture. Yeah, those little mini hands. Yeah.
When I first saw that, I was like, I didn't know he was deformed.
Not in that way, but in other ways, probably.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was actually when I left Oklahoma City. We had a going away party, and it was a big jam session at a venue that I used to play at a lot. And that was my going away present from one of my buddies.
Nice.
The little baby hands, and I tried to play a song with it. It didn't go well, but
Yeah.
but we got a cool picture out of the deal.
So if I was going to go with 3, if I was going to answer the question of the top 3 favorite basses other than a Fender P or J, so Fender P or J, so that means I can go with an off-brand that's a PJ configuration, which is not a P or J.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going with my Yamaha BB.
Absolutely. Is that the new one?
No, it's old.
Okay.
It's like whenever they first released the BBs. Yeah.
Okay.
With some strings on it that we'll talk about in a sec.
Absolutely.
But this bass rocks. It seriously rocks. And then I'm going to go with Lakland 5502. My buddy John Howard plays bass in a band called Six Wire. And man, I tried out his 5502, and the other week I listened to him play it on the side of a stage. And usually if something's got like as many switches and knobs, as those do, I usually kind of run away. But man, I don't know if I've ever heard such a powerful
tone. The thing about those is you can really, like, it's a precision. It's a 60s jazz, a 70s jazz, and a Stingray, and then it's its own thing all wrapped up into one. I've read things online where people say it doesn't really nail the P and the J tone. But really what you got to do is, what I found with them, because I've had a few of them, and what I found is what you do is you switch it. If you want it to be a P for whatever, you just solo the front pickup, and you got to crank the treble, and it's like, that's what you got to do. So for people wondering about, because sometimes if you just EQ it flat, it doesn't really nail the P and the J tone, but if you crank that treble, it does.
That would be a great premise for a YouTube video, would be to have a P bass with me and then like a 5502 and like blind, go blind, black screen, which one was
Yeah.
the P bass. I mean, I could tell you personally because only a split coil sounds like a split coil.
Yeah, I mean, but once you put it in a mix and once it's gonna nail that. It's gonna be in that ballpark. It's gonna get you what you want. But yeah, I mean that LH the L3 preamp is really. I'm not an active preamp guy, but that one and the Yamaha are like my two favorites. The ones that Yamaha uses.
Oh yeah,
are just
absolutely.
They're not too harsh. They're usable. They're not. As much as I love Ernie Ball, that the one on the bongo, I had a bongo bass, and it was just like if you just the slightest turn on those knobs, it was like a whole different animal. It was just it was too much for me. It just got kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm not a huge active preamp fan, but I love the LH3 from Lakland, and
Oh yeah,
whatever Yamaha calls theirs is fantastic as well.
I've got a Squire Jazz that I want to put a preamp in and maybe make it active, but we'll see.
I have a bass mods that I haven't. I got it with the intention of putting it in this bass, and I just never got around to it, and it's still sitting, and it's still sitting in the box that it shipped to me, and I might throw that in something and give it a shot.
What would be your dream setup for running direct? Like no amp. What do you think is the best way to go?
Honestly, like I'm really not picky about things. I usually EQ everything flat, and so I just give me a good DI and run me through the PA if we're going to go that route.
Like the Aguilar tone hammer.
That's what I use. I have an Aguilar tone hammer. So what I like about that line is, so if I do want to get a little bit froggy with the EQ, like my amp is an Aguilar tone hammer as well. So
nice.
Like no matter what, I'm using the same tone circuit, no matter what situation I'm in. So if I do have to run direct, it's still something that I'm used to. It's I don't do much with EQ. It's usually just pretty flat. I found that since moving to Pittsburgh, I am adding high end a lot more. And I talked to a Nashville guy, and his theory is the dampness in the older buildings, but I don't, he would know better than I would, but I do find that in these venues, I am adding high end, and I've never done that before. So
Sonic Boom wants to know what you think about President Donald Trump.
No, we're not going there.
Sonic Boom, thank you for the question. This is not a political channel. This is
I'm not, I'll just say that Chris Volpini has different opinions than Sergeant Volpini has. So
yeah,
that's where we'll leave it.
Well, and I'm sure that that's true of a lot of military personnel. Thank you for the comment, Sonic Boom. Yeah, I try to stay away from politics on the channel.
I'm not here to talk. I appreciate the question. I'm not, but we're not, I'm not here representing the Air Force right now. So like,
exactly.
I don't want anything to get misconstrued.
Yes.
But I do appreciate his question. If he ever wants to private message me, I'll tell him.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Well, you are here in representation, however, of a little company in the Scranton, Pennsylvania area. Da, 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 da. There we go. Are you walking around in the dark?
Well, the room I'm in, it's like motion. The lights turn off after like a couple seconds. So you might see me like waving my hands and whatnot here.
That's cool, man. But you are here representing MJC Ironworks. In fact, you sent me these.
I did. You and I have talked a lot over the years now.
It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, it has been. I've been, I moved when I moved from Oklahoma City, I went off the radar for a little bit on getting settled in Pittsburgh.
You did kind of disappear from like the internet for a while.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, I just had to get settled, and I wasn't in a band when I first moved up here. I really didn't have anything, and I don't just post just to post. So if I don't have anything to say, then I don't say anything.
Nice.
Yeah, now I'm in a regularly gigging band and doing a few other cool things music wise, and working with the string company now, MJC Ironworks, and it's cool. It's all good.
How did you start your relationship with MJC?
So I always had a bass with round. I've been a flat wound guy for a long time now, and
Nice.
I just played labella, just regular labella flat wounds, and I I started. I was always in like cover. I was in this really awesome cover band. It was one of the best playing experiences I ever had in Oklahoma City. It was called Hidden Agenda, and it was a lot of like '90s rock and things like that. And you can't do flats on stuff like that. So
Yeah, you really can't.
I would just I would just I would just go to some store, and whatever they had I'd buy. I would just always have like a jazz bass with round wounds in the corner for that band specifically. And
Nice.
so I started playing a lot with that band, and I was like, I should make more of an effort rather than just throwing whatever on there. So I started, like, every month I would change my strings, and every month I would try something new. And I settled on DR Sunbeams for a little bit, and I didn't love them, but I liked them. And then one day I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was like, "Yeah, we got this new string company. He's like, Rocco Prestia plays them, and Rocco Prestia is probably one of my favorites of all time."
Nice.
And I was like, well, and they came in this cool tin, so I was like, well, I'll try them, and if worst case scenario, I get a cool tin out of the deal. And,
Yeah.
tried them. They came, and I put them on, and they it just, the tension. I really liked the tension at first, and then when I plugged it in, it was like, oh my god, like this is exactly like every complaint I had about round wound strings being too bitey and too clanky and all that. It was all gone. Like, these are like they were perfect for me. And
Have you ever
so
tried DR Black Beauties before?
I've played basses that had them. I've never myself bought them and put them on a bass.
They're so undefinable because, I mean, they're technically coated rounds, but they're so crazy because they're not like flats and they're not like rounds.
So there was another string that I liked called GHS pressure wounds that were like that too. They were like, they weren't really one or the other. They were just kind of their own bag, and they were cool. But to the point, the MJC strings, they were just, I mean, they were perfect for me. And I just used the regular nickel round wounds. And one day I just I messaged their Facebook page, and I said, I don't know what you guys are doing over there, but like I haven't had a pair of round wounds I've liked in the 15 plus years I've been playing. And like, these are, I said, I don't know what you guys are doing, but keep it up because I love them. And I started, like, they were being carried by Sam Ash, and I started like buying them. I would buy out the store basically.
I didn't know Sam Ash carried them.
They did. I'm not sure if they do. They still do. But they did at one time. So put it shortly, Mike Conley is our owner, and he's a great dude. He's really trying to do something different. And but anyway, he messaged me back, and it turns out his son is in the Air Force as well. So we kind of bonded over that, and then how these things go. It just snowballed an event, and now here I am doing an interview on behalf of the company. But it really is so. A lot of companies make great gear, but a lot of companies aren't necessarily great companies. And the thing that really drew me to, like, really say, because it's like we talked about, my time is a commodity. I don't have unlimited time for things. But what really made me want to devote a lot of time to this company is the way that Mike Connolly, and the way he's running things, and his focus is he's focused on us. He's not focused on like celebrities and all this stuff. Like, he's really all about like the common musician,
The player.
And, yeah, he's a common musician, and that's who he's marketing his strings to, and that's his focus. I mean, the tin itself is, part of the reason he did that was so that, because we all need something to put picks or Allen wrenches or whatever in, and that's part of the reason he did that. He's, even with the packaging, he's thinking about the common guy.
The tin rules.
I love it. I use it. I keep Allen wrenches in mine.
Nice, dude.
Yep.
Oh, I have something behind me that I forgot to mention, which I may mention in relation to Allen wrenches. But so I tried the bass string, stainless steel. So are you a nickel guy or a steel guy?
I'm a nickel guy. I'm a nickel guy. I you know I usually just whenever I get a new bass, I usually have stainless strings on them, and I keep them on there because I don't want to just cut them off because it's wasteful.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big stainless steel guy. They're just a
So
bit too clanky for me.
one thing DR has said, I reviewed some DR Pure Blues, bass strings, and those are nickel plated still, and kind of their approach is to say, that players generally prefer the sound of steel, but the feel of nickel. Do you agree with that? Like nickel's more the feel and steel is more the sound?
I don't know. No, I think, I mean, I'm very much, I just try it and see what I like. And I can say honestly that by and large, when I was playing stainless steel strings, I didn't like my tone as much as when I was playing nickel strings. So to me, it's about the tone. And I think nickel, I mean, I just, I just like the way I sound better on nickel strings. I don't, I think maybe stainless steel may be better for people when they're sitting in practicing at home. But I think in a mix and everything, I prefer the nickels. They're just a little bit warmer. They're not as like bitey, and there's not as many overtones with them. But
Nice.
it's all preference. So we make stainless steel strings too, and a lot of people like them.
And that's what I got in here. And I guarantee, just based on my experience with these so far, I guarantee that if I left these on this bass and didn't change them, I guarantee they'd hold up fine for 2 years. I mean, they're
So I
crazy.
will even the one thing people say I know is that nickels don't last as long, which may be true or may not be. I don't really know, but the uh, the ones I have on my bass here at the rehearsal space, and I've been gigging this bass pretty regularly. That I'm on month 4, and they're not. I haven't had a problem. I
Wow.
haven't. I don't feel like I need to change them. I was still changing them every month when I first started using these strings, and then I was like, 1 month I just didn't have a set to put on, and I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna let them ride, and then this bass is like a test bed. I want to see how long they last.
Yeah.
So we're on month 4 and we're still going strong. I'm doing a gig with this bass. I'm doing 2 gigs this weekend with it.
Nice.
So it's yeah. I mean they last. For me, they last as long as a coated string, but they don't feel like a coated string. Um,
That's perfect.
in my experience. Now everybody's like, people have different pH levels and sweat differently, and that can corrode your strings faster. So there's always like variables involved with that. But for me personally, these strings have lasted longer than anything else I've ever played, except for maybe coated strings. But I don't really like the feel of coated strings.
Yeah.
So that's not really an option for me.
I really kind of like nickel plated steel. I mean, honestly, I probably need to try. I need to try nickel again just to see if maybe I like nickel the best. But nickel plated steel, and that's what the Pure Blues was. But the craziest thing was this. So DR sent me the Pure Blues.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of them and asked if they'd send me a couple sets to review, and they did. And Pure Blues are one of them. And I had them on this BB for a year. But it's funny, or not quite a year. But the funny thing was, it's like when I put them on, it's kind of like the action of the bass kind of shifted in a way. And it's like
Different tension.
the tension. And so like the whole time that I had them on there, I was never really happy because I really loved the feel of them. Like I liked the nickel plated steel. They felt absolutely great. I thought they had a nice bright sound to them. But the thing is, no matter how much I adjusted the action of the bass, I always felt like I was fretting out, even when I did adjustments, and it was
Yeah,
weird.
I always felt that way about some of the Diodario stuff. Some of their flat wounds. I always felt the same way about those. So I know what you're talking about.
With the
Um,
MJCs, I'm not having that experience, and it makes me want to try even more MJC strings.
I mean, the tension on them is perfect. And
Yeah.
I'm not like, I know that like I'm here as part of the company, but really right now I'm talking as a player. And for me, it's just, I just haven't played anything better. I've played like every company, and it's all preference at the end of the day, but like, and every company makes great stuff, but it's just, uh, these are perfect for me. The strings are perfect for me. And it's all made in America. It's a great company with a great owner who has a great vision. And I can't say enough good about the guy. I mean, he's really trying to do something different. Uh,
Nice.
he's been around the business forever, and he saw a lot of things that he didn't like, and he's trying to correct it. And I think his plan. I like his plan, and I think his vision is really a great thing. And I think it's going to take off. But
What took off was, I mean, it hasn't took off on a major scale yet, but so I've done so many string review videos, and the video of the MJC Ironworks stainless steel bass strings that you sent me, the video within one day was past 100 views, and usually that's usually normal. Like for my best performing videos, we'll get 100 in one day, maybe. But the thing is, for a string video, that's unheard of. I mean, I've had string videos stay on YouTube for months and months and months and not even hit 100 views. And decent videos I did, but people are curious about the stuff. I got a
yeah,
comment yesterday on that video saying, "Man, I've been wondering how these sound. Finally, somebody demos them."
yep. And like it's something that, and that's why I came to you. Is You have a solid following, and I like the way you structure your videos. It's you do the player perspective, and that's what we're all about.
Absolutely, man.
That's we are not trying to just come up with marketing gimmicks, and we are not, we're authenticity is a huge deal to us. And I think you have a very authentic channel. There's plenty of gear review channels out there, and that you if you consider the fact that they're kind of sponsored by different things and things like that, it's like, they never say anything bad. And I sent them to you knowing that if you didn't like them, we want honesty, and that's because that's how you get better. Yeah, it's we don't think we're perfect. So we want honest reviews, and we want people to be honest with us so that we can make our product better, and it builds a relationship. We aren't looking to just throw our stuff up at Guitar Center and and run our company from a spreadsheet. We're really trying to have a relationship with our clientele.
Very cool, man. And thank you for the kind words about the channel. I appreciate that. And
I
certainly,
mean, you earned it.
well, thank you. I honestly, I've kind of gone back and forth about, the honesty thing, because for one thing, I try to never say anything that's just flat out false. I never try to be dishonest, but I've had so many different mentalities over the years. Like 6 years ago when I started the channel, it was like, okay, if I don't like something, I'm going to diss it. I'm going to call it a waste of bass and blah, blah, blah. And I did, I was kind of a negative person. And so then, but a year ago, I was reviewing some stuff last summer, and I was like, okay, I really don't like this thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to diss it on the video, but I'm just not going to endorse it and then hope people notice that I didn't endorse it. And then, and so there's like a PRS SE custom 22 video on my channel. And you'll notice I never say, hey, I really like this. I'll say, yeah, it sounds really cool. And if you want to get one, then go on and do it. But then recently I kind of decided, okay, if something sucks, if there's something that people need to know, then I should probably, instead of just trying to keep my videos just positive, I should
Yeah.
probably let people know if there's a tuning issue or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing lately is like I've either been saying it somewhere in the video, you might want to look out for this, or I've been including like a pros and cons section, just because it's like I wouldn't want somebody to buy something and not be happy with it just because I wanted to be positive, in a review video. So if anybody out there watches my review of the PRS SE Custom 22. I was trying to be positive, but I think it's a piece of junk. Do not get one. I can't believe those worthless guitars are $700. They suck. And here's the thing. They sound great. You know, the pickups sound absolutely phenomenal, but they feel like a piece of junk. They feel like a toy. And I had to tune 30 times while making the review.
See, on the flip side of that, have you ever played the Kestrel basses?
No, but I'll break them over my knee.
They're pretty awesome. I liked them when I played them. I mean,
Castro? What is that?
Kestrel. It's Kestrel.
I've never even heard of that, but I want one.
It's like they have like a jazz bass, and then they have a soap bar bass, and you know, I played one. It has an awesome bridge, and I really liked the one I played. But you know, it's, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I think PRS makes great stuff. I don't have a lot of experience with it, with the SE line.
They suck.
I've seen the American lines, and the Kestrel basses are SE, and I like those. But as far as like the guitars, I don't have a whole lot of experience with them.
If I was standing on a ravine holding a PRS SE guitar, doesn't even matter what model it was and who it belonged to. Okay, well, if it did belong to someone, I wouldn't. But in any other case, I would throw it off the ravine, and I would probably turn around to someone and say, "You're better off, trust me." Because I mean, I had to, and honestly, I once owned a Dave Navarro SE for one night, and I got home and I'm like, man, this thing won't hold tune, and there's no way to make it hold tune, and it's a waste of guitar, and I took it back. So man, that particular video. I just kind of realized, yeah, I know I want to be positive, and I know I don't want to let companies down, but at the same time, if there's something that sucks, people need to know. So
well, if they're any kind of company, they're gonna, you know, if they want to know if they have a problem, you know,
yeah.
It's, I mean, it's possible that you just had bad luck or whatever, but if they get a lot of people saying, you know, then they can say, well, you know, maybe we need to look at something. Yeah, I can say that the only extensive experience I have with PRS SE is the Kestrel basses, and I think they're fine. I don't own one, but I've played a few of them now, and I recommended them to a few people, and they bought them, and they like them.
Guy from Dayton, Tennessee says he likes the Kestrel and the Kingfisher model.
I think the Kingfisher is the soap bar, and the Kestrel is the jazz bass, if memory serves. But they're good. You should check them out. They're decent basses. You can get them really cheap used nowadays.
Well, when I diss the guitars, I'm not dissing the basses, because usually with any given company, the basses are usually going to be better built than the guitars. And
or
it's probably
totally, the way overseas manufacturing is, it could be a totally different factory.
Yeah, that's so true.
Totally different ball game.
You've been over there.
Well, I haven't been to where, you know, like Southeast Asia. I've been to Okinawa, but that's about it. But like, I know a good bit about the way the manufacturing works over there, and the only one that I think is like 100% made, Warwick actually, I think, has a factory there. And so like the Warwick rock basses they're all made in the same area. But there's a lot of different, there's Mur Music, there's Cortec, and there's a bunch of different manufacturers over there, and they, you know, it's just however people order from them.
So tell me this about the acoustic strings.
Sure.
From MJC. So this 10 does not have acoustic strings on it because they are on a guitar awaiting review. And I shared this with you in a message the other day, but this past Saturday, I was getting ready for a gig, and I didn't have any elixirs around here. I had some Diodarios sitting around, and I thought, you know what? The best way I can review these acoustic strings is to put them on this guitar and then play a 3-hour gig with them tonight.
Yeah.
And then, then do a review commenting on how they held up. And so usually I go with coated elixirs, because I elixir strings because I know that they're going to keep their liveliness and they're not going to break on me no matter how long the gig is. In fact, a pack of like polywebs or something, I can probably get 2 long shows out of them. But the interesting thing is that these strings held up great the whole night. I think maybe I can kind of tell when a string, like when it starts to lose the liveliness that it had when I first put on the guitar. And I feel like that may have started to happen like at the very end of the show, but nowhere near, like, for instance, what do we have? What do we have here? Okay, I'm going to show you a real piece of junk called the D. Okay, a lot of acoustic guitar players out there are about to hate old Rumblin' Man's guts, but the Diodario EXPs. All right, so these are Diodario's coated phosphor bronze acoustic strings. Now, do I like them? I actually do. Like for actually having on an acoustic guitar that you're going to record with, or lead worship, or play singer-songwriter sets, they're some of the best for that. But for an entertainer, like what I do at these restaurants and stuff, playing long sets, man, these die 2 hours into the show, whereas the MJC Ironworks aren't even coated, and they
Yeah.
held up way longer than these coated strings have for me. So what exactly goes into that process? Like what is it that makes these hold up for such a long night?
So that's part of what we do differently. If you look inside the tin, you'll see a little piece of a sponge glued. If you could pull it up to the camera, that'd be great. Okay, that sponge is an emitter. It's called RN Protects, and it's an anti-corrosive. And so basically, the way it works is even those vacuum packed strings and all that, they're corroding. You know, it's science to quote
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy. Is they're the whole time they're sitting on the shelf in the store, they're corroding because it's not air, and so ours don't start corroding until you open the package because of the RN Protects in it. RN Protects, it's a thing. It's actually used in the military as well. They use it on military airplanes, and I can tell you that a lot of those planes are pretty old and they're still kicking.
Wow.
They don't have and a lot of it actually does work, and that's part of why our strings last as long as they do. It's they are all treated with that RN Protects in the tin the whole time before you buy them, and it's as soon as he makes them, they go in the tin with the RN Protects, and it's the corrosion doesn't start until you pop that open. And
Man,
it's 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 something that we do differently.
I'll tell you what, dude. If anybody out there is thinking about trying some MJC Ironworks strings, whether it's bass or electric guitar or acoustic guitar, go on and head on over to their website and grab a set. You need to try them. They're very cool. I'm really looking forward to doing the rest of the acoustic review. And also, I got a set of electric strings from you here. Gonna review those as well. Hey, and if you want to send more, I'll do that too.
We're going to talk about that, and actually, for all of those tuning in right now, message me directly, and we'll get you started with the company. We'll figure something out to get. We're not. We need to earn your business, and we understand that. So I'm leaving it open right now. Message me directly, and we'll get you set up.
So, what's the best place where the people watching can go and hit you up about MJC Ironworks?
Uh, I'll comment on this or something, and they can message me directly on Facebook. They can message the company Facebook page, and I'll see it. Whatever they want to do.
Very cool. And how's that for personal service, guys? Because you know how many companies I reach out to and just never get through to anybody. And here's Chris Volpini saying, "Hey, hit me up." And I like that. I think Lakland is a company like that as well.
They
I called
absolutely
Lakland.
are.
Yeah, I called Lakeland actually this very day, this afternoon. I called them to ask about some pickups, and a guy answered the phone, and he was
Is it
totally
Leo?
cool. I don't know. He didn't say his name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those guys, I can't, and again, I have no affiliation really with Lakeland other than I play their instruments and I've talked to them and I got to tour the factory. I was in Chicago for a wedding, and I ended up getting to tour the factory and everything. And I think the world of that company. I think the world of their product. They're another musician's company. I mean, they realize that most people want to play the standard designs, and
Yeah.
so they no matter what they have a Hofner-esque type thing, they have a Gibson type thing, they have Fender type basses, they have a Music Man type bass. I mean, they accommodate that, and then they do their own stuff too, and and that's the thing. That's the mark of a good company, is like when you call them, your odds are you're going to get one of the owners because they're there every day. This isn't just like a side thing for them, and they do really cool stuff. And I know that sometimes people say something about the Skylines, being an overseas made thing. That's, it's not, it's lower than Fender America, but it's kind of in that same neighborhood. And it's, that's all well and good. But what the thing about it is, a lot of the stuff is American made on those Skyline bases. I mean, the final assembly is all done in America. They
All
plex them.
done in America, yeah.
The hardware and pickups are all done in America. They plex them in the Chicago factory. They're all plexed. And I mean, I play Skylines pretty much because I had the American ones, and I have and had the American ones, and the Skylines, I don't worry about them. If it gets stolen, I'll get another one. It's not a big deal. And I think if I were to go on tour, I would actually use the Skylines. I lost my light. Hang on. If I get into touring again at any point, then I'll probably play Skylines.
My dream bases are Lakland Skylines, to be honest with you, because the Skylines mean running in the range of $1,300-ish bucks. They've got some primary parts that are built overseas, but they're assembled here. They're incredible, and honestly, and this is going to be a really extreme statement, but most of the Skyline Lakelands I've played, I will say they would trump most of the American Fenders that I have owned and played. They're better.
I would
They're
agree.
better.
Yeah, and if you get the 5-string, you still get the graphite reinforcement and all that. And,
oh yeah.
And realistically, the graphite reinforcement is I do believe it makes a difference. But all those, it's all those late '60s Fenders that people are paying crazy money for. They don't have any of that. And they seem to hold up all right. But
yeah, they have vintage inspired models. I mean, if you want something that feels vintage, you can very much get that. And Lakeland will do a relic if you want them to.
They will, yeah. Yeah, right now I'm working on it's the Duck Dun. It's called like the 4464 Deluxe now, but it used to be the Duck Dun signature.
You mean 4464 custom?
Okay, yep. But it's basically a P bass with a jazz bass neck. But
dude, I love that bass so much.
Yeah, I have an Inca Silver one, and I'm actually doing a it's a design I've been working on. I did one version on a Fender Cabernita.
I saw that picture, man.
Yeah, it didn't come out quite the way I wanted it to, but I'm doing one on the Lakland now, and I'm using the Shy Sonic pickups, and I'm going to be posting about that when it's almost finished. I was hoping to be finished for today, but it wasn't. It's going to be a few more days, but it's going to be cool. It's a different bag. So I'll be posting about that, and it's not affiliated with Lakland or anything. It's something I'm doing on my own. It's a design idea I had years ago that I'm just now.
So it's a modification on the 4464.
I mean, the 4464 is just a platform for it. It's going to be a completely different thing. But I do have it set up to where if it doesn't work out, I can just put it back to a regular precision configuration, and no one will know the difference.
Dude, that's a great bass. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
Yeah, it's just something that like, I've owned a lot of instruments and stuff over the years, and I just it's kind of a blend of different things that I like personally. So it'll be cool when it's done. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing that as well, man. But yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of people out there will see this broadcast and will really appreciate some light being shed on MJC Ironworks, because for whatever reason, guys out there are curious about the strings, and it's like, where do I order them? Finally somebody demos them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So anything I can do to help get out the word. I mean, based on my experience so far, they seem like awesome strings. And so you've got a great thing going there with them.
Yep. And I wouldn't be doing, because I'm, as you can tell, I'm probably not the best interviewee, but
you're amazing.
But I wouldn't be doing all this if I didn't thoroughly believe in the company and believe in the owner. It's like I've said a few times now, they're truly doing something different. They have a great vision, and I'm going to do everything I can to help them realize that vision. And that includes stuff like this. And That's why I'm putting myself out there. You can message me privately, do whatever you got to do. Message the page, message me, and we'll get you set up, and you can try them out. And yeah, that's really
Very
what we're
cool,
all about.
man. And guys, Chris Volpini knows this stuff. Of all the guys that I've met online, I have to say that you have one of the best tastes in gear of anyone I've come across. I mean, with the Aguilar stuff going, the
Yeah.
Lakland Skyline stuff, and now the MJC Ironworks strings.
Well, it's as bass players, it's hard for us. Like you go to the stores, and most stores don't have a great bass section, so
Amen.
you really just got to kind of buy it and try it, kind of a thing anymore. And that's just the way it is with the online retailers and everything. And that's what I've been doing, and where I've arrived over the last however many years of doing that is Lakland, Aguilar. No matter what you got, I got a recommendation for it.
Very cool, man.
But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's been a great time trying this stuff out. It's a hobby. I got a really understanding wife, so.
Me too, actually. Me too. She's very understanding, very supportive of the channel, and
oh yeah,
and everything.
she's probably watching this right now. So.
Ah!
But yeah, it's we're not. I'm not going to come out here and say we're the. If you get our strings, you're gonna, all the girls are gonna come up to you after we're not here to make outrageous claims. Of what I think is that we are worth a try. And if
Absolutely.
you try it and you like it, great. And if you don't like it, please tell us what you don't like, and we'll see if we can fix it.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you have not yet seen my review of the stainless steel bass guitar strings by MJC Ironworks, the link is already in the description. And then also, when I finish the other reviews, the links to those will be in the description. Make sure you check them out, because I'm going to do my best to give you an accurate representation of the strings that I have on hand from them to demo. Also, you want to make sure, if you're interested in getting set up, Chris Volpini here will work with you and make sure that you can get into a set of strings that you can afford and that'll work for you. So make sure you hit him up on Facebook. He's going to comment with his contact info, and very cool opportunity to go on and get in on a company that is really right now kind of rising to popularity. I see it happening. I see the company rising to popularity. So for me,
Yep.
to get to do some of the review videos and stuff while it's rising, that helps out the Rumblin' Man channel.
Get in on that ground floor.
Do what?
Get in on that ground floor.
Yeah, exactly. Get on the ground floor and catch the elevator while on the ground floor.
Yep. I mean,
Funk Bass Corsario says, wait, I thought we were going to start at 8 p.m. I forgot where you're at, bro, but here on the East Coast, it is 8 p.m. It's actually 9:34 now.
Yeah.
So you're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Actually, Jeremiah Grube, who's coming on later in June, is in Pennsylvania himself.
Pittsburgh or?
I don't know what town he's in. I don't know Pennsylvania very well. I've been on that turnpike and I've eaten at the subway and
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. Cool.
Another guy, Jay Lopez, who might be on here right now. I don't know if he is or not. He's another one of my guys, but he lives in, I think he's in Allentown.
Okay. All right. I know where that's at. I grew up in Wheeling, which is about 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh.
Nice.
And I've been to Pittsburgh a bunch of times, but it was usually like we came up here and went to Kennywood, or we went to a Pirate game or a Steeler game and went home. So like I'm getting used to like actually living here and making my way around town and stuff.
Seems like a great place. Honestly, I've only been on the interstate and in a few churches, and I don't even remember my experience there like 10 years ago.
I've been to a lot of cities now, and I objectively still put Pittsburgh in the top 5.
Nice, man.
It's a cool city. It's a cool town.
What would the other 4 be from the top 5?
I really liked Spokane.
Yeah.
And I really liked Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, wow.
And I loved New Orleans when I was down there. I think everybody loves New Orleans pretty much, but and let's see, Catania, Sicily was pretty amazing.
Oh.
If we're going worldwide, if we're just staying in the States, then I don't know. Let's say San Diego would be
Nice.
That's pretty cool. It's expensive, but it was really cool.
When were you based in Spokane?
I wasn't based there. I did some training up there for a couple months. You do survival training up there.
Nice, man. So you
Up in the mountains.
in the Washington Mountains?
It's pretty awesome.
Did you bushcraft or what?
It's called SEER training. You just learn how to survive, and then there's a couple other phases to the training that but it's cool. It's a good time.
Yeah, man. I lived in Seattle, Washington for a while.
I've always wanted to go there, and I've never gotten a chance.
Oh, you need to. You've got to visit once,
I
man. You
know.
got to go.
Well, my childhood was Ken Griffey Jr., so like I always wanted to go and see the Space Needle and see Ken Griffey Jr. hit a home run.
Oh yeah.
I got to see that in Pittsburgh, but I never made it out to Seattle yet.
Well, it's totally worth it. And did you see any Sasquatches when in those mountains?
No, but we were there's a part where you're supposed to be hiding, and we were in this bush, and it's a pretty grueling training, and we all fell asleep, and I woke up and I just heard this snort, and I kind of tapped the guy next to me, and I didn't know what I mean. You get really good training before you ever go out there about what to look out for, and I was like, man, I think that's a damn moose. and it when I said that, it heard it and it ran, but it we never actually saw it, but it had to be about 5 feet away from us, but the brush was so thick. But it ran, and I was watching trees bend as it was running. It looked like a truck driving through the forest. But it was nuts. It was a close encounter with a moose.
That is so scary because meese will kill you.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, but it was cool. It was a cool experience.
Very nice, bro.
Yep.
Hey, well, I won't keep you all night. That's Funk Bass is on here. You're Chris. Sorry. I won't keep you all night, Chris, but thank you very much for coming on the program, for all your support over the years. And I really appreciate you, man. And we'll keep working to get the word out about MJC Ironworks, and we'll bring you back on maybe later this summer, July or August or something. We'll bring you back on and get you back on. I'm trying to do this every 2 weeks or so, and bring on as many guests as I can. So we'll
that'd be awesome. Did we answer all the questions and everything? That's what we're all about here.
Yeah, guys, if you've got a question for Chris, go on and post it. Guy from Quebec says, "Thank you, Chris."
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think we covered everything that I saw on there.
Okay.
First area was wondering what we were talking about, and we were talking about MJC Ironworks. But you will be able to see the
we kind of went all over the place.
We really did, and it was awesome.
The focal point is MJC Ironworks.
Absolutely, man.
But if anybody has any other questions that sees this video in the future, message me. I'll be glad to talk to anybody about whatever.
Awesome, man.
But thanks for having me on. This was great. I hope to do it again.
We will. Let's plan on it.
You going to Summer Nam?
Probably not, because in my main job, I am out of vacation time.
That's never good.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I have some flexibility here and there, but like if I'm going to go do, some kind of alternative job. But yeah, Summer Nam it's probably funny because I could probably, my parents still live up there. I could probably go, completely free and everything and stay with my parents and stuff, but probably not going to happen. What about you?
We are looking to have a large presence at Summer Nam. So,
is that in July?
Yeah, July 18th, I believe. I don't have my planner on me, but I believe it's July 18th.
It's looking unlikely for me. I'll probably be at Winter Nam again, though.
I've always wanted to go, and every year I've been deployed. So hopefully this year I will get to go.
Hopefully in January, the only place you'll be deployed to is Anaheim.
Yeah.
Then we can finally chill in person.
That's right. First round's on me.
Ha ha! Awesome, dude.
But yeah, cool, man. Thanks for having me on.
Man, thanks for coming on, and thanks for all your support and all your help over the years. It means a lot, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. If there's anything we can do, we're gonna talk a little bit about getting you some more strings offline.
Yes.
But yeah, if there's anything more I can do, just let me know because I like what you're doing. I think your channel's different in a good way. So you know, whatever I can do to help out, let me know.
Thank you, bro. And same to you guys as well, man.
All right, yeah, absolutely. We look forward to working with you more often.
Same to you and to everyone else on this broadcast. If you want to work with MJC Ironworks, try out some of their strings, make sure you get in touch with this guy.
Love to talk to any of you.
Very cool, man.
All right.
God bless you, bro.
All right, we'll see you. You too.
Thanks again.
All right, bye-bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Chris Volpini. As you can tell, very awesome guy. It's interesting. I've talked to him like online a lot over the years, but that was my first time to actually like talk to him face to face. Other than very briefly yesterday when we did test the connection and make sure our links worked and everything. But Chris is a very cool guy. Thank you again, Chris, for coming on tonight. And for just all your support over the years. It's funny because if I try to remember way back, if I try to remember years ago, like before I even, lived in Florida, when I first when I first did the channel and everything, like my first year with it, it's interesting because there are some names that I remember from back then that are still with me. And Chris is one of them. Another is Ed Hauser, who lives here in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. So very cool to have Chris on the program tonight, and be looking out for MJC Ironworks. And this is a special and unique opportunity for anybody who's watching this broadcast tonight, because Chris has actually offered to help you get into a set and chat with you about them. So make sure you get in on his inbox if you're interested in getting your hands on the set. I totally recommend it. And also make sure you check out my review I've already done of the bass strings, the stainless steel bass strings, and then an acoustic strings review is coming soon. An electric strings review is coming soon. A review of this mic is coming soon. A bass review is coming soon. And then let's say I do all that and there's nothing else on its way. I've got a ton of other stuff sitting in this room and sitting in my office at my church that I can review. So Rumblin Man is not planning to go anywhere. In fact, we want to make things even better. Some guys have gone full time on YouTube, from what I understand. I talked to Philip McKnight a little bit at Winter NAMM this past January, and so it's really cool the kind of reach you can have with YouTube. And for me personally, I just really appreciate all you guys. I've seen a lot of names here on the broadcast tonight that show up in comments a lot. So guys, I really appreciate your support and all you do for the channel. So I think I covered pretty much most of the topics that I wanted to nail tonight. Line 6 HX Stomp, just for those who might be just now coming on, I released a video this morning called My Favorite Pedal for Bass Guitar. And it's essentially about getting started using the Line 6 HX Stomp for bass, because you think of it as being, a device that's being used for, say, primarily electric guitar. And whereas they may have mainly had electric guitar in mind, it's wonderful for bass. In fact, with the USB port on it, I'm using it as my bass interface right now. I'm a big fan of bass chorus. In fact, I'd like to review some. Thank you, Guy. I'd like to review some bass chorus pedals, from Aguilar and MXR and Boss and other companies like that. But so my new patch, I've released Rumbleville 19, which is my first ever released patch for Line 6 HX Stomp, and it's called Rumbleville 19, and it is a bass guitar patch. So if you have a Stomp, make sure you head over and get it. Link in the description of this video. You can hear it from the video that I released this morning, as well as I used the same patch with a couple modifications just earlier this week when I released the video of the MJC Ironworks stainless steel bass strings. So yeah, the HX Stomp is pretty awesome. That's a weird comment that just threw me off. Does it have the B7K on it? Don't know anyone named Julia. So that's weird. Don't know. But yeah, so HX Stomp for bass is very, very cool. So HX Stomp related videos, church pedal board, playlist series I did. More updates on that coming soon. So If anybody's got any questions for me, go on and post them. It's a chorus pedal. Oh, I'm sorry, AJ. I didn't understand. That I don't know. I do know that there are sounds that you can get for it. Like if there's like a sound that it doesn't have that you're looking for, usually you can get it. You know what I mean? Um, the sound that I made, the patch that I made is mostly stock sounds, but I really like the chorus that I put in this thing, and you can check it out on my video from this morning. I really like the chorus effect that I wired in there. But yeah, see, bass chorus is cool. A lot of people think, but I think, But I never really have played bass with too much overdrive when live and in the studio. Maybe a little bit here and there, but mostly I feel I need a tuner. I feel I need a good boost. I feel like I need a good EQ. I feel like I need a good chorus, and I feel like I need a good amp tone when it comes to running the bass and things. So my latest patch, or my brand new first patch for HX Stomp, Rumbleville 19, which is available at a link in the description of this video, gives you all of those things that I think are kind of the bare essentials live. And more patches coming soon, more demos about pedals and the HX Stomp coming soon. So what kind of, all courses get to, yeah, GK. Oh, absolutely. So what kind of videos do you want to see on the Rumblin' Man channel? Let me know. Are you more into bass or more into electric guitar? This is a channel for both those things. Are you a worship leader or a worship player? Because we have content for you. Do you do YouTube? Are you an influencer? Because we have microphones and stuff. Whatever you need, whatever you do, I'd like to hear more about what kind of videos you're looking to see, because we do a little bit of everything here, and I certainly want to please the crowd. So I appreciate all of you guys very much. As always, God bless you, and thank you so much for being part of this broadcast tonight and for participating. If you watch on the replay, thank you for doing that as well. There's so many of you out there who seem to really be enthusiastic and really support the channel and always say very kind and encouraging things. And I want to, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you and God bless you for that. It is very encouraging to me because you know how life is, man. Some things in life build you up, and other things just kind of eat at you and try to tear you down. So, but if you have more stuff in your life that builds you up and it reaffirms that everything's cool, then that's good. And so for YouTube, for me, YouTube right now is something that is an encouragement. So really appreciate it and certainly need it. Guy from Quebec wants to see basses and accessories, and definitely already have done some of that. Going to do more. Great show tonight. Really enjoyed the interview. Cheers, says Sean. Thank you, Sean. Thanks so much for being part of it. Funk Bass, I'm sorry that it ended up so late, brother, but yeah, is what it is. So next broadcast, I'm trying to do like every couple weeks right now. Maybe I'll eventually go to once a week once we grow even more. I just now crossed, just a couple days ago, 3,500 subscribers. So we have 3,500 subscribers. Actually, a little more than that. I think it's like 3,510 now. Very cool. I remember last summer I was trying to get up to a certain number so that I could get monetized, and I have been monetized for a while now. But it's interesting. I remember I was trying to reach 3,000, just inching along, and then we hit 3,000. Thank you, Perlan. Yeah, very cool. We hit 3,000 and surpassed it to 3,500. So to me, the next big milestone is going to be reaching 4,000 subscribers. So please subscribe, please like. Obviously, we have PayPal and Patreon for those who want to help support the channel and operations here. No pressure to do that, though. Thank you, AJ. Obviously, I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/rumblinman. Instagram.com/rumbleman. Do a lot of posting of gigs I'm playing and activities and stuff I'm doing. I've got a couple Facebook groups. There's Rumblin' Man's worship guitar and bass friends. If you're a worship player, you'll really enjoy it. Even if you're not a worship player and you're just a guitar player, a bass player, and want to chat about gear, you're still welcome. Still welcome to join. I just play worship music a lot. A lot of the other guys from the channel do too. So that's why we have that group. And then there's Rumblin' Man Insiders, and it's a very elite Facebook group. Basically, it's a group. The only ways to get into it are to provide services to the channel or to be a patron of the gold status tier, which is For some, it's pretty affordable, honestly, or to be handpicked by me. So there is a insiders group, and there are ways to get involved. The people that I handpick are usually like, okay, there's some kind of potential, with this relationship, or this person seems to be really into what's going on. So let's include them in the insiders group. Both those groups, however, get pulled. I agree, guy. Let's praise the Lord Jesus Christ. But both those groups are going to get pulled for different things. I actually pull the worship guitar and bass friends group a lot, just when I'm wondering, different things. So I love gear. Gear is a big part of my life, a big passion of mine. I mean, right now it's almost 10 p.m. So when I get in bed tonight, what am I going to do while I'm laying there awake? I'm probably going to get on my iPad and watch gear videos. I mean, that's probably it. So I'm going to sign out. I'm going to hit the sack and just kind of chill a little bit. But I just want you to know I appreciate your participation tonight. Appreciate you being enthusiastic about the channel. It means a lot. Let's build this thing. Let's keep rocking. Let's release some content that inspires people and that encourages people, that is positive and realistic all at the same time. Remembering all times that no matter what kind of time you're going through in your life, there is a higher power who loves us all and a higher purpose in life. There is always more. There is always more fulfillment of heart and soul that you can find, and there is always hope, no matter what. And so, more than anything, that is the message of this channel. And thank you so much for being part of this broadcast tonight. And I will see you on the next video and also on the next broadcast with Jeremiah Groob on Tuesday, June 25. God bless you.